Welcome to the Polar Homestead. We learn finance, permaculture and prepping. A modern view of the world. Don't forget, freedom is in your hands. Stay safe and vigilant, friends. And now your host, Ralph KK. Launch in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Welcome to the apocalypse. It is me, your host, Ralph KK. And today I want to tell you that winter is coming. Yeah, but I mean, like, seriously, there is only 4 months left of this year. The year 2022, where so many crazy things happened. It is hard to believe that everything just happened all at once. I mean, every day it is just lit, it's on fire. I mean, like, literally on fire. Today we have a very chill topic, or kind of relaxed. We're gonna talk about TV shows. And right now there are 2 very popular TV shows that have just been released or are about to be released. So these 2 TV shows are The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power by Amazon, and Game of Thrones, The House of the Dragon. We are halfway through TV season. We have a lot of hyped up TV shows that came out. So this summer we have 2 big TV shows that everybody's talking about. So we have Game of Thrones and The Lord of the Rings. And you could say that they are both opposites in the way that they are being received by the public and the way that the creators made the show. So, for example, The Lord of the Rings TV show, there is a huge controversy about it because the producers, they just put woke politics all around the TV show, like sprinkled here and there. And besides that, they massacred the Tolkien literature from what the TV show is based on. And if you go online, you go to the internet, there's just like a huge scandal, you could say. A huge scandal between the fans, between the mainstream media, between the producers, the creators of this TV show. So like everybody just fighting with each other. So what happened with this TV show? Well, I don't want to go into specifics, but they just put too much woke politics, and they twisted the literature into something that is not Tolkien. This is the main complaint, that the TV show is something like fan fiction because they just changed too many things. So when you are creating a film or a TV show based on some specific literature, you have to follow the story, the rules of this literature, so that you are able to call this content, you are able to call it from what it's supposed to be based on. So if you are going to make a Lord of the Rings TV show, it should be specifically based on the books or literature, whatever, and it should be the same, or it cannot be similar, it has to be the same as what the story says. So the problem with this TV show is that it's something like fan fiction because they are just creating like a random interpretations of the story and the characters, modern interpretations of Tolkien, which nobody asked for. It's actually quite funny to see how people are fighting, because it's something like a war of words. You go to Twitter and then the main actors, they are fighting with the fans, like arguing, and then this is getting like pretty aggressive. The actors, they are calling fans by names or trolls, or even using bad words. So the pushback from the fans is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So I think, and almost everybody on the internet thinks, that this TV show is going to be a big failure. And Amazon invested something over $1 billion. Supposedly the most expensive TV show ever made. They're spending something like $60-something million per episode, plus the rights for the literature, whatever. So this is going to be a very expensive blunder. So the problem here is, if you are like a media company, you're some Hollywood studio, whatever, you want to be creative, make like something of your own creation, like fan fiction, whatever, yeah? So here's the problem. Why do you have to use an existing franchise or an existing piece of literature, or a name of something that is already established? Why do you have to use or get or buy an existing franchise to create something that is going to be fan fiction, or that is going to be what you want to create? So basically, Hollywood or these media companies, they buy the rights for some franchise, and then they create whatever they want, which is not connected to the franchise. And the reason they do this is because if they went out there, they produced a film or a TV show with no name, and they created their fan fiction, their interpretations, their ideas, whatever, with no name whatsoever. So here's the problem. Nobody would watch it. Nobody would go see it. It would be a failure. So the solution, according to these Hollywood executives, is to buy established franchises and then to create some content using the name of these franchises. And this content is usually some interpretation or creation to what the media company or producers, they want to do. And this is the problem. This is why people, they get angry. And sometimes the ideas of these Hollywood producers, sometimes they are too very specific to what they think themselves, and they just want to spoon-fed these ideas to the general public, even though the general public, or most of people, they don't want anything to do with these ideas, or they don't want to consume this content. And this is why we see a revolt on Twitter, on YouTube, and people are pushing back because people are tired of this. I suppose this started like a long time ago, when first Disney, they bought Star Wars, and then they started to create their interpretations of the lore, their own ideas of how the franchise should grow or evolve, or to be adapted to modern times. When you use by a franchise and you don't follow the existing literature, like the following rules, you're going to make people angry. You're going to make the fans angry, because when these Hollywood companies, they create their interpretations of already existing literature, this is basically changing the whole rules of the game. You are interpreting to your own ideas what are something that already exists. This is why fans, they get angry. It is not about the content or who is playing what or what it takes place in these new films. The problem is that you buy the franchise and then you change it to something else that it is not what the fans like, what the people are used to. So like I said before, you want to create your own elf fantasy, modernize, pseudo, neo, modernism, whatever you want to call it. Okay, you can go and create whatever you want. Nobody's stopping you from doing this. But why do you have to go and buy existing franchises and then stamping it with something else that is not? So almost everybody, besides the blue check marks, almost everybody expects the new Lord of the Rings TV show to fail, to be a big failure, to be a big $1 billion blunder. On the other side of this, we have the new TV show of Game of Thrones, yeah? A lot of fans were very disappointed 5 years ago with the last season of Game of Thrones, because again we have these producers, these media companies that want to make their interpretations of the lore of something. They change it and then the fans they used feel terribly disappointed, because also the last season of Game of Thrones 5 years ago, the last season, it was created by the producers. They didn't use the literature, the book, because the book is still even today is not finished. So the last season, it was a creation of the producers. It was not based on any books. So the previous seasons, they were entirely based on the books, and this is why it was so successful. Anyways, the new season of Game of Thrones, it is also based on a book, and the people involved, the producers, they are new people. So this kind of heals the wounds left by the previous showrunners. And to the surprise of many, actually, the TV show was quite acceptable. It was not terrible, it was not amazing, but it was acceptable. And some of the characters, they are well played. I already have a favorite. It is this guy, the bad boy called Daemon Targaryen. He's the brother of the king. He has like a very narcissistic personality. You could say self-destructive, egoistic, egocentric. He's just like an anti-hero, but to my own opinion, he's kind of funny. So I watched the first episode. It was quite okay. Without giving out any spoilers, there is dragons, there is drama, and there is the new Targaryen queen, which, well, okay, she is going to fight for her throne. She wants to get the throne for herself, and I suppose the whole first season is going to be about her trying to get the throne. I also saw the trailer for the second episode, and we're gonna have already like a big battle of the Targaryen army fighting against invaders, like near the beach. There is dragons, there is fire, there's lots of action. And also, not surprisingly, the fans of Game of Thrones, they are kind of accepting the new TV show, because they didn't change the lore. I mean, there is a little bit of, or a few sprinkles of woke politics here and there, but they don't go over the limit. They don't make such dramatic changes that people would say, oh no, this is not Game of Thrones. No. So because of this, because this TV show, this new TV show of Game of Thrones, it follows the books how it should be. Maybe they changed maybe less than 5% of reality of what's in the books. And so the changes, they are not so dramatic, so people accept it and people are not revolting. If you also want to see some more drama on the internet, on Twitter and YouTube, you can go check out the fight between Hollywood actors, Hollywood producers, and fans of the Marvel universe, and blue check marks and everything. So they are fighting about She-Hulk, new TV series on Disney Plus, and the whole TV show is like woke politics 90%, and it seems that it's going to be a big failure. I mean, nobody's watching it, the ratings are tanking, there is people fighting on the internet over it, and the fans, they will just not take this anymore. Perhaps this is what's happening, on the internet, that so many people are fighting against each other over simple things like TV shows. Maybe this a mirror, a reflection of our society, of how the society is crumbling. By the way, did you guys hear there is a shortage of potatoes? Do you hear this? There is no potatoes. You see, I told you guys to get your potatoes, to start growing your potatoes, because potatoes will save you during the apocalypse. Another big TV show that is currently playing is Westworld, the new season. I think is the 4th season, and I watched the first few episodes, and actually, you won't believe me this, but this season is much better than the previous 2 seasons. Still, I think the first season was the best one. The second one, the third one, they were like meh, so. But the new season is somewhat interesting. So according to what I watched, the robots, they are taking over. They are taking over human hosts. They get rid of them, and then they replace the human host with an android. And what is not clear still is if what happens to the human host. Some of them, they're just killed. Some of them, they're just in some episode they show that like a human is frozen, cryogenically frozen, something like this, and they make a copy of the brain into the android or something like this, something very complicated. Anyways, it's very interesting. I've watched maybe 2-3 episodes and they are just fine. Very much popcorn entertainment. So we still have 2 weeks of summer. You can watch some TV shows and enjoy what's left of the summer, because winter is coming. There's only 4 months left till winter comes, and it looks like it's going to be like a very tough winter. Today I was reading the news, and believe me or not, in Germany they are running out of toilet paper, and according to them, they don't have energy, so electricity to manufacture the toilet paper. So electricity and some materials for the toilet paper. So this winter, people in Germany, they will be cold, hungry, dirty, and with no toilet paper on top of everything. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous that the government is pushing for this kind of way around to survive this economic crisis. There is no water, no electricity, no food, so they give you some advice of what to do. So if you are hungry, you should restrain yourself. because not eating in the morning, this is very healthy for you. So you should try eating once per day. Also, in case you have some food and maybe it has become spoiled, according to what they say in the mainstream media, even if it has a little bit of mold, white mold, if it is white mold, it might be used okay for you, according to the newspapers and the mainstream media. Also, it might be very healthy if you don't take a shower, because you don't take a shower, you can economize a lot of water and electricity. So instead of a shower, try to grab like a wet cloth and just clean yourself. Like if we are in the Wild West or in the Middle Ages again. The year 2022, but we are regressing to the Middle Ages or something. So according to them, to the government, it will be very healthy for you to take a shower once a month, if you can afford it. If not, you will just do it every 6 months, like if you were a pirate in the Caribbean 500 years ago or something. Also, I have not read the guidelines of what to do if you don't have a toilet paper. I really want to see what they're gonna tell the public what to do in case they don't have toilet paper because they cannot find it in the shop. I think this is gonna be a very catastrophic and funny winter, kind of like a satire, like a cheap black satire from a cheap author in a cheap novel somewhere. Sometimes reality is funnier than fiction. So remember, get your potatoes, grow your potatoes, and maybe you will survive the apocalypse. Don't forget, if you want to get in touch, you can find me on Instagram, YouTube, and almost all social media. You search for the Polar Homestead and I am there.
You know the talk is cheap against the blood of rising.